Hello, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me well. It looks like we are live. There's Billy. So the clocks went back last night. So over here, it's almost 9 o'clock. I think you guys in the US, East Coast, Eastern time, you're only 4 hours behind now, not 5. Nice to see everyone here. Scott 49140 says, hi, Anthony. Need more time before it crashes. Nacho Fool, hi, Nacho Fool. Dave L, Carlos Garcia, maestro. I'm not a maestro, but Christopher Davies says loud and clear. John Smith. Billy might jump off, I think. We'll see. Bobby Critter, 13 years ago, I sold my house in Conroe, Texas, been debt-free since then. Yeah, that's the title of the live stream. That, what is it again? We need to get out of debt as much as possible. I know some people might not be able to get out of all their debt. Getting out of debt a must ahead of coming economic collapse. And I have to admit, it's difficult to know what kind of a collapse it's going to be. I think we're starting to see the beginnings of a currency collapse. And when that happens, yes, it's hyperinflation, but it's also going to be depressionary in that businesses are going to go bust. People are going to lose their jobs. So it's going to be the worst of all worlds, where everything you need is going to be really expensive. And all I'm trying to warn people is that don't think that because you think the money or the currency is going to collapse, that you won't have to pay your debts. In the meantime, getting to the collapse, you might lose your job. They might lock us down again. And if you've taken a big mortgage, especially in the last 18 months where they've made it so easy and they've made people feel flush with cash, with the stimulus and everything else, you might not be able to cover your mortgage payments or other debt payments, and the property or stuff that you think you have could be repossessed. And I think this is what the globalists want. They want more and more control, and not just a profit, but owning almost everything. And I think that's the way it's going to go. I'm going to wait a little bit because I'm early as usual. I don't want to. I'm going to reference and recommend a really great video. One of the viewers sent it to me, sent via message through the Facebook page that Facebook group that Monaco 64 is in, and that's why I'm talking about this. So let's see, loads of you. Knows here. Who else? Spanish John. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, I think I told you guys, maybe not in the live stream last week, but last week after the live stream, I designed a new Let's Go Brandon line of mugs and t-shirts and everything else with a picture of Billy. So if you want something with Let's Go Brandon, you can go in the Teespring store. Andrew Watson from Wolverhampton. Crypto feels like currency lotto. Everybody's waiting for theirs to hit so they can run back to the dollar. Well, that's the thing. Do you want to go back to the dollar with your crypto gains? I don't know. I mean, I have exposure to cryptos, but it's more like I earned cryptos. I earned Steam, Hive, and some others, and they're doing quite well. I do have a private fund that I invested in 2016. That's done well, but it's I can't sell it. It pays dividends. But anyway, we've got Burkhard Lange from Germany, Michael Biggins. Hi, Michael. Ulrich Mirgast, silver going down. All right, that's good. We can buy silver going down versus what, Ulrich? I think silver is it's the cheapest asset out there. I think I'm accumulating it. I'm holding on to it, and it's money as well. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about another video another viewer sent me. This guy is going around the UK paying for gas or petrol and other things with silver coins. You'd be surprised. People say that silver isn't money, but he found a loophole in some of the Royal Mint UK coins. Alain Roy says, bonjour, says Monaco for the most honest channel on YouTube. Thank you. Bobby Critter, I think I've said hi already. Connor Monnery, hi Connor. Brick22 says Theta. Neil Hahn says gold-backed dollar. I don't think we want any backed currencies. We just want money. Gold and silver are money. You don't need it to be backed if it's gold and silver. And I don't think, that's how I see it. Because the word dollars actually derives from a silver coin. Roy Brown from Mississippi. Peter Brunsgaard. Hi, Peter. Greetings from Dallas, Texas. Oh yeah, let's go to the guy using silver. So I'm gonna link the YouTube page so you guys can. He's got loads of videos. He goes around. He's interesting. He's here in the UK. Let me bring him up. Where is he? Share. There we go. There you go. There he is. That's his name, Julian Chamberlain. And there you go. So do I know if Asda Biddeford will accept 20-pound coins? So yeah, you should check his channel. He's got quite a few videos, 8,000 subscribers. Interesting guy. I've watched a few of them, so I can tell you guys what's happening. Let me just disconnect here. Hold on, stop sharing. So I'll tell you, Tricky Dicky, thank you for your super chat. Tax and spend from rushing high tax for 70 years, and he brags about being a low tax government. I know, I made a video about that last week. So what this guy, Billy, you want to go? He wants to go down. Come on, boy, you can jump. He's not seeing well at all, Billy, so he's a little bit scared of jumping off. Come on, boy. Come on, Billy. Oh, let me come on, boy. There you go. He wanted to jump off, but his vision is pretty bad. So there are actually, I've got one of the coins here. There's I think mine is from 2018. It's about half an ounce, a silver coin, right? It's got the St. George, and it's got the Queen on the other side, and it is a 20-pound coin, 20 pounds, right? But it's half an ounce. So the ounce of silver right now is about, the spot price is about 18 pounds or even less. I don't remember how much I paid for this coin. I might have paid around 20 pounds. I don't know. I bought it from the Royal Mint about 3-4 years ago. And what he's done, he's gotten a hold of quite a few of these, and I think he must have paid less than 20 pounds because they're only half an ounce. So, and they're legal tender. You go to the website of the Royal Mint and they're legal tender, and it's 20 pounds. So what he does, he goes to a petrol station and he puts the diesel or gas in the car, then he goes to pay. And they can't refuse it because he's already used the product and it's legal tender. And very interesting. And he's found another coin, which I don't have. It's a 2-ounce silver coin. It's also legal tender, and the face value is 100 pounds. So he's used those as well. And I've gone on eBay. They're all up for 100 pounds. People have twigged onto it. It is 2 ounces, so it should be costing like 60, 65. But I think he said he bought the 100-pound coins for about 80 pounds. And I think he started buying them in 2019. So I think he bought a lot of them. And now he's using them and he's actually getting a profit. But he has a lot of trouble because people, you give them like a 20-pound coin, silver coin, and they say, "What's this? I've never seen this." But yeah, but a lot of the people accepted it. They said, "Well, we can't refuse it. It's a legal tender." And you already, the thing is, he explained, he's pretty good legally. He explained that, let's say if you go to a shop where you get the products and you can't consume it, and then you go to the till and you go pay with this, they'll tell you, "Oh, we won't accept that. You have to put the stuff back." But if you go to a petrol station or gas station and you pump the fuel in your car, it's too late for them to say no. So that's what he's done. Recommend it. Miles says, what was your family's take on things? Do they support or think you're crazy? Thank you for the super chat, Miles. My family here in the UK don't have much of a extended family. My brother-in-law died quite a few years ago now. My wife, she's on the same page as me. My daughter is, she doesn't really care much about things. She's still young. And in Switzerland, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still in contact with my sisters, my mom, my brother-in-law, nephews and nieces, but don't really talk too much about what I talk here. I think, yeah, but so I have a lot of support from the person that matters, my wife. And Billy, of course, is 100% behind things. Sorry if I haven't seen much of your questions here. Let's see. Echo, when the sovereign was the chief coin in the world, would people go to banks to exchange them for lots of silver coins for day-to-day spending? I think the way it worked was that, maybe the sovereign was more for savings, or if you want to buy something, a big item purchase, you might use the sovereign. You might get change, silver change. You go to a shop and you pay with the sovereign for I don't know what, really nice pair of shoes. They might give you half a sovereign back and some other silver coins, or you could go to the bank and exchange it for change or silver. So for sovereign was £1, so it would be, you'd get 240 pence in silver coins. So for example, the florin, let's see, the shilling. There's 20 shillings to the pound. So you could exchange one sovereign for 20 of these little silver coins. So that was 20 shillings. Or you could exchange one sovereign for 12 florins. Florin is twice the size of the shilling. similar to the $0.50 and the quarter, actually. So back to the title of the live stream about getting out of debt as much as possible. Well, here's the other video that I recommend. I will also put a link to the video about this guy paying with silver coins in the description once the video goes, you know, the recorded version of the live stream is up and running. But there's another video someone sent me as well, and it's called, I'll bring it up here. Where is it? Okay, share screen. It's a long one, but I highly recommend you watch this. It's called Monopoly: Who Owns the World? And it was premiered on October 2nd this year. It's got 255,000 views. I think it should have more views. And he just talks about basically there's two huge companies, BlackRock and Vanguard, who own everything, and how all the banks and the big corporations, the media, they're all interconnected. And what he's saying is that these people, they want to control more and more ownership. These major corporations, they own about 2/3, almost 3/4 of all the world's wealth. And I think they want to control as much as possible. This is the video. I'm going to put the link here too. I think I put it in the description of the live stream, so you can look there and get the link. And it's one of the reasons why I think it's so important to be out of that. I saw a comment before I started. One of the viewers said, well, I thought, you know, if they're going to revalue everything or change everything, that it's good to have that. Don't be so sure about that, because the people who run the system, they don't look after our own interests. They're not going to make it easy for people who have debt. And I think on the way to the collapse, if we, you know, we're starting to see the inflation, we're starting to see interest rates rise. We saw the Australian bond market, Australian yields start rising a lot. We're seeing it in Canada. We're seeing it everywhere. And we've already seen mortgage rates increase in the UK. I saw an article that the mortgage brokers are saying that mortgage rates could double in the next 12 months. And then you get rising prices, higher taxes. You might not be able to maintain the, you know, your mortgage going or any other kind of debt. And I think what the powers that be want is people to lose everything. And it could be hyperinflation. They could pull the plug or raise interest rates. And the reason they want to do that is because they want people to get help, to be dependent on the government, to sign on to their digital currencies, to sign on to their social credit. So what I'm trying to say here, don't be enticed into debt and think that you get away with it because everything is going to collapse. I would try to be away from the system as much as possible. And that's why I hold as much as possible outside the system. We've got super chat here from HZJ. Thank you, HZJ79. I appreciate it. BlackRock, yeah, BlackRock, Vanguard, they're the major owners of everything. And Vanguard is a private company, so we don't really know who's behind it. But and then Vanguard owns most of BlackRock, and they own most of the banks. They're all interconnected. They own everything. I think the other thing to try to do, and it's really hard, is to try to not deal with a lot of these corporations, but they're all intertwined so much with all kinds of industries, consumer goods, airlines, automobiles, travel, everything. So it's so hard. So we have to make an effort maybe also to go more local, buy more from small businesses, but it's almost impossible though, because they've got their tentacles all over. Miles, thank you for your super chat. Still don't understand how some stocks do well in hyperinflation. If priced in fiat, how would it be valued? Well, I've never gone through a hyperinflation. Well, in Brazil, we had hyperinflation, but I wasn't really living there at the time, and I wasn't involved in the stock market. But you will be valuing it versus gold and silver, I would say, versus real money. The thing is, yeah, in Germany, if you had shares in companies that produce real things, that were industrial companies that survived the hyperinflation, you would do well. I think what's going to hurt people is the fact that there's a lot of, how can I say, margin. People own a lot of their stocks on margin, and yeah, they could, the stock market could collapse as well with the currency collapse, and you could lose, if you're leveraged, that's always the problem. But also technology companies, I think they've been the major driver of this stock market bubble. They could do very badly. And financial companies, insurance companies, pension funds, banks, they don't do well in the hyperinflation. But I think commodities will do well. Commodity stocks, precious metals, miners, energy. So let's have Steve Hartnett from Essex. Hi, Steve. Does he want to leave the room? No, he's all right. Billy, he's okay. Big, do you think crypto's outside the system? Well, it is. If you, yeah, it is outside the system if you keep it in your private wallet. Yeah, so it is, but yeah, it is outside the system. No, Billy doesn't need the potty, Susan. No, he's all right. Steve Hamer from wet Lancashire. Well, it was really wet this morning here. It rained a lot. I was going to play golf this morning, but the course, they closed the course. It was no way to play. In the afternoon, though, it was quite nice. Steve Hamer, are they going to blow up the volcano? I don't know. The Cumbre Vieja in La Palma, who knows? Michael Jack says, own your house in an unrelated LLC. Tell the rest of the debt to F off. Graham Hobbs, what's your take on COMEX physical silver situation these days? I haven't really followed too much COMEX silver, but the last that I saw is that the store, the how much silver they have in storage is dropping, but I don't really follow that much. I know COMEX controls a lot of the paper. Well, they control the paper price with the LBMA of gold and silver, and eventually I think they will lose control. But I don't lose sleep over it, and I don't keep track of it every day. I think looking at the other commodities, a lot of them are in backwardation, so there's heavy demand for it. I think eventually a backwardation will happen in silver and gold. SC thinks the powers that be chose the winter to accelerate the controlled collapse. Yeah, you could be right. JM, what do you think of Greg Hunter saying that it looks like Evergrande never made their payment earlier this month? Well, there's two payments. I think one this week that they said they made, and then one the week before. I think the week before was 83.5, and it was reported that Citibank received the payments. They're the trustees. And then this week, it came out in the Wall Street Journal, and they said that they heard from sources that they had been paid, that it was 43.5 million. Yeah, Evergrande is a big problem. I think China, I saw a tweet just before I came, went live on the live stream. Let's see here. I've got it here. Here we go. This is from a guy that I follow. He follows me as well. He uses a pseudonym because I can't, he's actually, he works on Wall Street, but he's been stuck in Australia for a couple of years because of the lockdown. I think he's got family over there. But this is what he said. 72% of Chinese household assets are invested in real estate versus 30% of households in the US. Given the over-leveraging, almost Ponzi schemes of Evergrande, Fantasia, and Cynic, that's most of the country that's at risk when these debt bombs implode. So yeah, I mean, whether they're lying about making these payments, I don't know. It's only speculation. I think I saw that, what's his name? Bix Weir is the one that's, he came out in a, hold on a sec. I think Billy does want to go out. Come on, Billy. Want to go out? Want to go out? Sarah, Billy wants to come. Colin. Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, Bix Weir made a video recently, and he thinks that they're lying about this 43.5 million that they made in payments. But yeah, the thing about if there is a credit collapse in China, it's going to affect the whole world because China, I think they used to say that when the United States sneezed, the whole world would catch a cold. I think now it's the opposite. If China is going to sneeze or have a cold, the whole world is going to be in trouble as well. So there's another video that I wanted to recommend, and this is to do with this climate change, agenda. And most of you must know that they're having this COP26, whatever that is. Well, it's this climate change. I think they have it every year, but it's the first time we're hearing of it. It must be the 26th that they have. But I recommend this guy. This is from GB News in the UK. It's a new channel that we've got. I don't follow them too closely, but this guy is really good, Neil Oliver. We haven't even got past Halloween, but it's already Panto season at COP26. It's a really good, 7-minute monologue. He talks about how he feels about the fact that they're telling us how to live our lives, that, we have to save the planet. And did you know that there's the link for that video? And basically, Joe Biden, he had an 85-car motorcade in Rome because they, flew to Rome first and then he's going to Scotland. And yeah, 85-car motorcade, that's going to help save the planet, right? It's one of the things he mentioned. So I highly recommend that guy, Neil Oliver. Rochelle Fernandez, Mario wears pants, not boxers with a suit. It's all right. No, he just wanted to get out. He's not seen well at all anymore, which is a shame. Have had to help him sometimes. He bumps into things. Graham Hobbs said Evergrande, no one connected with the company has said they paid. The only info is from people connected. He said it was paid. Big difference. Yeah, we'll have to see. I think we had in Australia in the last half of this week, the bond market there had a lot of trouble. Yields spiked, like the 2-year bond yield went from like a 1/4% to almost 1%. In Canada, bond yields are going up, and Evergrande I think has a lot of money invested in Australia as well. Australian real estate is heavily dependent, I think, and Canadian real estate dependent on Chinese investment. And even here in London, we have a lot of Chinese money in real estate. So it could impact the whole world. It could be what leads to higher interest rates, government bonds, corporate bonds, because Evergrande bonds are junk bonds, which are lower quality, but it could ripple through the whole bond market. And I think that's part of what's happening in Australia. It's to do maybe with Evergrande. It's going to be an interesting week this coming week. Tomorrow is November 1st. The Fed's meeting, they have another FOMC. They will announce their decision on the 3rd of November, which is Wednesday. And then the Bank of England has their meeting the next day. So it'll be interesting. Mario Billy Calendar says, tears for beers. Neil Total Belshit says, I love Neil Oliver and I'm straight. Okay. Yeah, I'd never, yeah, I think he's Scottish. He's got a pretty heavy Scottish accent. Crazy Legs, the Reserve Bank of Australia is claiming they can burn the money from maturing bonds to fight inflation. Could you expand on this information? Basically, I guess, if the Federal Reserve Bank of Australia bought a 2-year bond and it matures next year, so they will get the cash, right? They'll be paid, but they can just like write it off. That's what they mean, instead of buying, taking the proceeds and buying more. That's what they mean. They'll just write it off. That's what they mean by burning it. So, but that would decrease their balance sheet. But the Aussie Reserve Bank balance sheet has gone from 200 billion. It's almost up to 800 billion. It's gone up maybe 3-4-fold. The Canadian central bank balance sheet has gone up a lot. But what that will mean is that, it's going to drain money out of the currency, out of the economy. It's going to make interest rates rise because what all this QE, the Aussie Reserve Bank, has done in the last 18 months or 16 months, from 200 billion to almost 600 billion, is to buy bonds and keep interest rates low. So if they let it burn, like they say, that's why we're seeing interest rates rise, yields rise, and that's going to translate into higher mortgage rates, higher credit card rates, higher bond, corporate bond rates. It's going to affect the whole economy. I'm sorry if I haven't answered everyone's questions. It's just hard to see, everyone's questions. There's so many of you, which is a good thing. Press 7 if you love Mario and Billy. Mario, I need to learn to hit the power fade again. Yeah, that's to do with golf, I guess. Alignment, all I'll say is alignment is really important. you need to work on it. It's really basic, but I've been working on it anyway. Echo, the above 3 posts is what the Royal Mint told me about coins and legal tender. Yeah, it's tricky, legal tender. Yeah, they do confirm that they are legal tender. But however, I don't know. Retailers might not accept it. But this guy also did a video, which if you guys go through that website, what's his name again? Julian Chamberlain, yeah, the YouTube channel. He also paid off some of his credit card debt with those coins. He walked into a Barclays bank and they had to accept it. So it's really interesting. I recommend you watch a few of his videos. And this is in the UK. I can't talk about what you can do in the US with the coins, but it's interesting that they are legal tender. And even though they're commemorative, it doesn't matter because we have 2-pound coins or 50p coins that circulate that are commemorative. Just because they're commemorative doesn't mean you shouldn't use them. It's just that right now, I think that guy was able to buy those coins, the 20-pound, the 50-pound, and the 100-pound coins for less than 100 pounds. And now he's using them and paying the legal tender value. Oh, does he want to? No, I haven't. Where's Billy? Does he want to come in? Does he want to come in? Bill? No. Come on. It's not that. I'm not finished. Why? I'm really sorry. What? What happened to him? Don't worry. Come on, Bill. I think he wanted to come back. That was my wife. There you go. Chris Conman, thank you for your super chat. What do you think will eventually cause gold to move higher? Higher inflation, continued zero rates, etc. I think it's the continued negative rates. We have negative rates because we have CPI running at 5% plus, and we got the bond yields at less than 2%. I think that's what's going to keep gold going up. But I also think it's loss of confidence in the dollar. You know, foreign investors, they're going to be buying. They're going to be getting rid of dollars because they don't trust the people running the system. And that's not just, that's not just in the US. It's everywhere. I think people are losing faith and confidence in the whole political system. Lord Humongous, George Soros. Yeah, he's not a great guy, is he? George Soros. Echo says he loves the broadcast. No, Billy's all right. I don't know. He's just a bit, because he can't see anymore that well. So he's a little bit. I wasn't rude to her. It's just that she was asking, "Oh, is it finished?" I said, "No," but it's all right. John Hopkins. Not a Karen. Let's see if I got something else here that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, there's something else here No, it's just that I don't mind her coming in here. It's just that when you're doing something, you get distracted, right? That's all it is. And then you lose your train of thought. Oh yeah, I recommend this interview here. I interviewed Michael Oliver from I think it's Momentum Structural MSA. That's his company. He does technical analysis for markets. And he spoke recently with the guys at Wall Street Silver. And I recommend Wall Street Silver, YouTube channel and the Wall Street Bets, Wall Street Silver subreddit. But this was a good interview last week. And I recommend you watch it on Wall Street Silver. Michael Oliver's Silver and Gold at Critical Momentum Levels. He looks at gold and silver more in terms of momentum because he said, if you always measuring gold and silver versus fiat currency, they're so unstable that they don't give you a true picture of the longer term picture of gold and silver, their strength. What else have I got here? Oh yeah, it looks like there's another, hold on, another shortage now. And that's what I kind of replied to this tweet, because apparently now there's a shortage of what is it, fertilizer. Prices in the US are going through the roof. New Orleans spot prices jumped 70% in 7 days. And I think I said, when the currency is going bad, everything goes bad, so that everything bad happens because currency or money is half of every transaction. And if there's something wrong with the currency, there's going to be something wrong with the world. This is another thing that is really bad. In Switzerland, they blocked a restaurant in Zermatt because the owners refused to exclude, people who hadn't had the, so they closed the restaurant. The local officials, they put these cement blocks. It's really bad, I thought. Brandon O'Connell on YouTube. I think I've heard of him. Steve F., how much of your mortgage can you pay off before they have the right to repossess? I.e., if you paid off more than 75%. Well, I think if you haven't paid off all of it, they can, you need to check with your mortgage, the contract. I don't know. But I would say if you've only paid off 75%, they could repossess your home. But if you've paid maybe 99%, then maybe not. Carlos Garcia, what if gold value at 64, like Bitcoin did without a collapse? What would you do? Well, if the Dow was at 64,000, then probably I would. And if interest rates, it would all depend where other assets would be, we'd have to look at, because gold at 64,000, other things wouldn't be where they are today. So I'd have to reassess everything. I would probably be taking some profit on my mining stocks and maybe buying more gold and silver, or maybe, I don't know, because that's the other thing nowadays. I said, I think, I don't know if it was a live stream or a video. I said, right now, yes, it's nice that your savings or investments do well in terms of purchasing power. But what I'd like more than ever, more than anything, is to go back to freedom, that we can move around, without having to have, more than just a travel passport, I think is already too much in my book. I think people should be able to travel freely anywhere they want. But now they've got other passports, so yeah, 64,000. Yeah, what kind of world would that be? I don't know. And you'd have to see where other assets are. If the Dow is still at, let's say, at 35,000 and gold's at 64, then I would probably, go and buy some equities, because the Dow to gold ratio would be below, Dow gold ratio would be below 1, which has never happened before. That would mean that gold is overvalued versus the stock market. The owners of the restaurant Zermatt continue to serve clients, and now the police arrested them. Yeah, I think I saw that they kept serving them. I've been to Zermatt, I think twice. Once when I was quite young, and then later on when I was an adult. I had a girlfriend, and we went to Zermatt skiing for a weekend. It's a really nice place. But the way Switzerland is going now, I don't know if I want to go there, even though I have family there. But I probably wouldn't be able to go there if I went to Switzerland. I don't have a green passport, so I probably wouldn't even be able to get into Switzerland right now. Over here, I feel like we are being oppressed in the US by a totalitarian government. US constitution holds no weight anymore. Well, it's not only in the US, because here in the UK as well, we don't have a written constitution, but we have the Bill of Rights as well from, I think, 1688. I'm not sure from when it was written. We've got the Magna Carta, we got common law, and all of that's been trampled upon. and even the Americans with a written constitution, that's been trampled. And I saw, though, that it's encouraging. There are some members of the European Parliament, in Brussels. There's a German MEP. Her name is Christine. You should Google this. She sounded almost like Ron Paul, saying, what they're doing is wrong. Christine Anderson. So people are starting to wake up, even in the EU. She's an MEP. I would check it out. Google that. She made a really good speech. But the mainstream media in the EU and everywhere else, they're ignoring it. Yeah, someone said here, gold is manipulated for now. And I was listening to Cliff High. He was talking about 1933 when they confiscated gold. They had to do that because all the banks were collapsing in the US when Roosevelt came to power in March of 1933. And I think at that time, the term started in March, not January. And the first thing he did was call for a bank holiday for a week or two. They closed all the banks because people were rushing with their dollar, their promissory notes to get their money out. And by money, I mean money, gold. So he had to have a bank holiday, because what happened is in the 1920s, the banks, they issued too much currency or paper promissory notes with not enough gold backing. So that's what happened. And it was creating a deflationary environment because people were taking their money out of the bank, the gold, and the banks couldn't lend because they didn't have the reserves anymore. And the US was under a gold standard. So he shut the banks, and then what they did is they banned gold ownership. So they basically took the US off the gold standard domestically. And then a few months later, in January of 1934, he revalued the price of gold to the currency. And I don't say, yeah, some people might say the dollar, but I would say it's the currency. So prior to 1934, it was the Gold Act of 1934. It came into effect, I think, 1st of January 34. 1 ounce of gold was $20.67. So he revalued it to $35. So the government, and it was the Federal Reserve who took all the gold from the people who handed it in. They made a fortune. You know, they took gold at 20.67, and then by fiat they said that, you know, the ounce is going to be 35, and it was with that all the profit from that confiscation and revaluation that they also created the exchange stabilization fund. That's how they used those profits to keep that's when they started manipulating the markets in 1934, I would say. And a lot of the 1%ers back then, they knew before before the bank holiday and everything, that they were going to confiscate the gold. So they shipped a lot of their golds probably to Switzerland. So they made a fortune as well. And that's the way it always happens. So Cliff, I was saying that the Chinese might have to do that with Evergrande, seeing that Evergrande is such a huge part, or the property market is so leveraged and such a Ponzi scheme. If it implodes in China, the Chinese might have to revalue their gold. And what will that do? Well, that will give more confidence in the system. And the Chinese, some people speculate they have 20,000 tons, and they could do that because what it means is that, right now, an ounce of gold is about 12,000 yuan. But if it's 120,000 yuan, then they'll be able to more easily pay off the debt. So that is possible. We'll have to wait and see. But that's not why I hold gold and silver. But it could be one of the reasons why it goes up. This is a Billy Silver Squeeze mug. There you go. And there's a gorilla. There's a gorilla on this side here, and there's Billy here, and some silver coins and bars. Billy has natural gas. Yeah, I have to say, Billy's natural gas is very smelly. That's for sure. Yeah, the U.S. Treasury gold is valued at 42 and 22. That's right. And that's what the Federal Reserve they helped the Treasury confiscate the gold. So people were told to take their gold to their regional Federal Reserve banks, the private banks, and those private banks, the New York Fed, Dallas Fed, whatever, they sent the gold to the Treasury, and the Treasury put it in Fort Knox. But the Treasury had to issue promissory notes to the Federal Reserve, because if they hadn't, it would have been considered a theft, because the Fed took the gold from the public. So the Treasury had to issue gold certificates to the Fed, and the Fed has gold certificates on their balance sheet, but they value it at 42.22, which makes the gold at the Fed only valued at 11 billion. So yeah, it's possible that both the PBOC and the Fed could revalue gold, and yeah, it would solve a lot of problems, especially if interest rates start going up. Because if interest rates start going up, the Fed's balance sheet is going to have a lot of losses because they hold a lot of bonds. Whiskey and cigars. Lord Humongous says he's hoarding. That's not a bad thing. I think they could be good currency as well. Yeah, SW as well. Catherine Hernandez says Cliff High also says Evergrande already defaulted. The media is lying about it. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think what's happening at Evergrande is it's like a minefield. And right now, it's like they're walking through the minefield. And that minefield is really long. And eventually they're going to blow up. And they could be lying about it. But right now, it's still considered solvent, but I don't think it's going to be for much longer. Alex Skuru, I agree with you. You know, when there is inflation, it's good to borrow money because your debt becomes worth less and less. But I think this time around, it's not a normal inflation. It's going to be hyperinflationary. It's going to be deflation, depressionary. We're going to see collapse of everything, and all the things you need. They're going to be really expensive. And the last thing, what most people will want is to eat. They want to survive. And if you have a lot of debt for things that are not useful, you're going to lose all those things. That's the way I see it. And do you really want to be beholden to the people in charge? Because that's what having debt is as well. I want to be as sovereign as possible from the bankers and the globalists. Carlos Garcia, thank you for your super chat. Here, 1 ounce silver Britannia for Billy. Silver bug Bitcoin will be 1/10 of 1 ounce of gold in new reset. Silver bat crypto no collapse. Thank you, Carlos. Oh, we got another 10 minutes to go. Shrinkflation, yeah, that's going on a lot. I saw Wall Street Silver on Twitter. You guys should follow if you're on Twitter, Wall Street Silver. Go to their YouTube channel as well. Wall Street Silver is really good. I think it was Jim Lewis. He runs the Wall Street Silver Twitter page. He just put a picture from the supermarket that they had the price of something, and it was for 16 ounces, and the package was down to 15. So they're changing it so much that they haven't had time to change the label. So they're saying that it's 16 ounces, but actually the package now has gone down to 15 ounces. And there are examples of that everywhere, not just in the US, here in the UK as well. I've noticed the crisps or potato chips, as Americans call it, the bags are the same size, but you open it and there's almost, it's like half of what they used to have inside. Chrono Bear says, all my neighbors have $30,000 tractors in their barns, and I know they didn't buy outright. I don't know much about tractors, but one thing that I was reading also this afternoon from the End Game Investor, Rafi Farber. I have a subscription to his newsletter. He noted that the supply of used and new cars in the US is dropping precipitously, almost down to zero. And so at least car prices look, used and even new, doesn't look like they're going to go down or even stabilize. They could keep going up. So maybe if you have a car on finance and it's not that big and the price goes up, you might be able to sell that and pay off the debt, and maybe buy, or if you don't really need two, if you have two cars and you only need one, for example, my wife and I, we used to have two cars, but we only need one, so we sold the other one. Greg Austin, why did copper price spike the other day? I think it was the couple of weeks ago, because in the last few days it's gone down. Well, there was like I think it was the week before last on the LME, the spread, the backwardation went through the roof. So there's a shortage. The LME basically had to default. It let the shorts not have to deliver. Yeah, there's a lot of demand for physical, and it's not just in copper, it's also manganese. We heard that there's a lot of that going on. There's backwardation in a lot of other commodities. That means that people don't have, they want, they think they're not going to be able to get things in the future, or they're going to be really expensive in the future, so they want it now. And there's a lot of shortages. All the stuff going on with China is not helping. And can you imagine as well, if there are credit problems in China, it's going to be a mess. Nick, thank you for your super chat. Would you suggest being all in silver and gold or hold some fiat? Well, I hold some fiat just for my month-to-month expenses, and unfortunately, I've been holding, putting some fiat aside in the savings account for tax purposes. But no, yeah, I would try to keep as little as possible in fiat, and silver and gold, yes. and I think silver is going to outperform gold, but it doesn't mean to say that you need more silver than gold. It just depends on the individual. You might prefer silver, so you might focus more on silver, or it depends. So, but I think silver will outperform, but gold will do well as well. And yeah, and if you want to be more speculative, try cryptocurrencies as well. I don't have anything against them. I've been involved in them. And the reason why I don't cover them more on my channel is because I think we need to focus on gold and silver. We can't just abandon, gold and silver, because they are going to come through. And I think there's just too much emphasis. I'm a precious metals channel, but it doesn't mean to say that I don't have some exposure to cryptos. And I do, from posting my videos on Steemit, BitChute, Library, or Odyssey. I'm earning those cryptos, and I'm holding on to that as well. But I don't think you need, you just need to be careful. Cryptos are very volatile. But I think the blockchain technology is something that is very interesting going forward as well. Chrono Bear thinks BlackRock is now a commercial bank operating without a license. Probably, they're in bed with the Fed. They basically wrote the program. I did a video with John Titus, going direct BlackRock. They had that plan at Jackson Hole in 2019, just before the repo crisis kicked off. Going direct means that the Fed's pumping money directly into the money supply through people like BlackRock. Yeah, Henry Kissinger is still alive, I know. He must be approaching 100, I would say. Andrew Watson, no, there's nothing to stop the Fed buying gold with printed reserves, really, because the Fed doesn't have money, they have reserves. They don't even have gold because they got the certificates. Yeah, Drickett, bankers worldwide have replaced the people's gold and silver with paper. Yeah, they've been doing it since 1914. You know, it started in Europe. The excuse was another big crisis, the war, and they've been doing it ever since. And and most people don't even know anymore that gold and silver are money. And that's why it was interesting to watch this video by Julian Chamberlain, you know, using silver coins to pay for things. And the people were like, what's this? You know, they'd rather have a piece of paper that's worthless than a really nice silver coin that's worth, you know, 20 pounds. They'd rather, even if the silver content is worth less than 20 pounds, you know, the legal value is 20, but they're scared of taking that, which is just goes to show that they've done it for so long, you know. But I think things are going to switch around and come back. You know, history always goes in cycles. And I think there's too many people saying, you know, especially, I'm not going to say who, but a lot of people are saying, oh, gold and silver fission, there'll never be money again. But watch Julian Chamberlain YouTube channel, and you'll see what I mean. Here, I'll write down his name for those of you who weren't here earlier. Yeah, he's doing it. He's using silver coins to pay for things here in the UK already. Butch Edwards is going to play 18 holes. I was going to play this morning, but there's torrential rain here in London this morning, so we had to call it off. Kissinger is Schwab's teacher. Yeah, I've read about that. And one of the guys who helped Klaus Schwab start out the World Economic Forum in the early 70s. It was called the European Management Forum. Was a guy called Herman Abs. Here, that's his name, Herman, German guy, Herman Joseph Abs. And in the early 70s, he was the chairman of Deutsche Bank. But during World War II, he was a director of Deutsche Bank. And Deutsche Bank was the bank that laundered the most, you know, confiscated Jewish wealth. and so he was involved with this. And he was, you know, so Klaus Schwab directly involved with this guy, Herman Joseph Abs. He got away, you know, at Nuremberg because the British delegation and Bank of England people let him off because these bankers, they look after each other, even though the guy was a Nazi and stole billions and billions from Jewish-owned businesses. So that's the kind of guy Klaus Schwab is. And I wrote something about that in my blog in June of last year. My blog, some of you might not know, monaco64.net. I've got a few articles in there. I don't write too much in there, but go back, and I've done something about the World Economic Forum. There's a picture of Klaus Schwab with Prince Charles in the article. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, let's go. Pablo Pina, Brazil has mass protests, bigger than Carnival, no media coverage. I think they had a lot of people going, you know, they weren't protesting, they're demonstrating on the 7th of September. So over a month ago, a couple of months ago almost, that was the Brazilian 4th of July. And yeah, the president of Brazil, he's kind of like the mainstream media is totally against him. It reminds me of another country and another guy. So I'll take maybe a question or two more, and then we'll call it a night. It's gone past 10 o'clock here. Silver Highwayman, I agree with you there. Yeah, 85 in the in the motorcade, Joe Biden. All right, it looks like there's no more questions, so I'm gonna call it a night. It's basically here, it's really now 11 o'clock. I know it's 10, but they just changed the that we just gone back the clocks. So I wish you all a great week coming, next week coming, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. And thanks again for all your support and for being here. Really enjoyed the live stream.